When you say self-abandon, I think that you probably have your own what that means to you. I think I've been saying that in different words. I realized while you were talking, I think I've been speaking that promise to myself in a different way this year, but I wonder if it means the same thing. I've been saying to myself, like, I am going to enter my own story. I am going to engage my own story. Like, that's been a big theme for me this year. And it's kind of like, I think maybe similar to that. I'm not going to abandon myself. Like, I'm not going to sit here and wish I was living somebody else's life. I'm not going to sit here and reject myself because I'm frustrated with the choices I've made so far or where I'm at. I'm going to embrace, like, this is my story. It's nobody else's. I'm going to own it. I'm going to sit in it. I'm going to sit in the discomfort of it. I'm going to stay with the lessons that my story is teaching me, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's painful. I'm not going to check out of that story. Is that kind of the same
I
thing that?
love that. So for me, I guess it's more of a um like a little bud of, you know, I feel myself, this is overwhelming, this is hard, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to be here. I kind of just want to shut off emotions, or I kind of just want to avoid or
Mhm.
abandon or check out. Um, but seeing it sprout and come to fruition, and the tree and the facets of it really is everything you're saying and so much more, because I think it's just like the root, or the seed is just making that one little choice and not realizing how powerful that is, and how, yeah, like, I'm choosing to be the pilot in my life.
Right.
I'm choosing to
Yeah.
be in my sadness when I want to. I'm choosing to reach out to my friends, even though, like, I'm choosing to do these things that I think would be good for me. And
Yes.
yours is a very mature and, like, big picture, um, kind of how that can become something so big, and how it's so monumental and so life changing. And
Yeah. I think that what we're saying is the same thing at different angles. Like, when you were just talking and you said being your own pilot, it reminded me of the book that I'm currently reading, and it's called To Be Told by Dan Allender. And he's talking about owning your own story and kind of learning to co-author your story with God.
yeah,
And I haven't gotten super far into it yet, but some of the messages I'm already kind of grabbing, like my heart's grabbing. That idea of choice, like you were talking about, like when you're not entering into your own story or when you're abandoning yourself, it's just things happening to you and
yes,
you're not choosing anything. But when you're engaged in your own story, when you haven't abandoned yourself, when you're sticking by yourself, you're saying, okay, this is our story and we can't do this, or this, but what can we do? Like, what choice can I make right now to engage in this story and make it beautiful? Um, so that's, yeah, we could talk about that for a long
yeah.
time, but that's awesome. I love that.
And sometimes I think, just even coming from, like, not thinking so far ahead, I think it's important for the people, or for the times when you are, saying, okay, I'm not going to self abandon, and I don't have a plan right now, but I'm just going to rest in my depression right now, my mourning, knowing, just kind of knowing this is what I need right now, not
Hmm.
judging. And then in time, learn the lesson from it.
Yeah. We don't always have the capacity to make those choices all at once. But you're
Right.
saying like there's a choice that we can make to stay with ourselves, even if we can't figure everything else right now, we're not
Or
gonna
to just,
check
yeah,
out.
just to not, I mean, there's always a choice to keep going. And that I think can be one of the most grueling things to endure is that place where you feel stuck and you want to get out of it, but you just have to endure.
One of the things that Jake and I have said to each other in the past when we've been faced with a decision about something we could do, but it would be hard. Like something that we wanted, but the journey to get there would be hard. We've had this conversation a few times, handful of times before we would say yes. And we would kind of say to each other, like, I'll do this with you if you promise not to shut down. Like we can talk through anything, we can work through anything, and I'll be there with you in it if you promise not to shut down on me.
I
Don't
love
check
that.
out. Don't check out. And we'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. Even when it gets really hard, if you see me starting to shut down or check out, call me on it and we'll come back to each other, you know?
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it's just this promise of I'll endure with you to the other side. Like I don't know where I'm going to be as far as what I can offer, but I'm not going to check
Mhm.
out. I'm not going to quit. And there's so much to
And
that, like, what that means emotionally, relationally that we could dissect, but yeah, that's what that made
and
me.
I think also, we do check out. Like and sometimes you need to, but to make that promise to each other and to know you're going to come back and to make that choice to come back.
Yeah.
I think,
I think there's a difference between checking out or quitting and rest. I think there are different meanings to check out. Like, I think when you say we do check out, and sometimes we need to, I think there is a choice to rest and like decompress and disconnect from intensity that's needed. But like, when I say check out, I mean like, I'm not gonna, yeah, I'm gonna take breaks. I'm gonna need breaks, but I'm not going to leave you in it. And I'm not going to quit, you know? I'm not gonna take
yeah,
back this commitment to endure with you. Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think mine is more um, my capacity to be there for people changes. And
Oh, yeah,
I
for sure.
always I always tried, I'm not sure. Um, what was I saying?
We were talking about what checking out means. And I think
Oh,
go ahead.
I think for me, it's more like, yeah, want, knowing I don't have the capacity to be there for someone who I love, but still knowing that they're going through stuff and thinking of them, and but knowing that, again, making that choice, that resilience of I don't have the space to be there for that person. And I always say, like, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to be there for you, or um yeah, I think for me it's more like mental, emotional, as opposed to like physical or com- committal.
Yeah.
Committal.
That makes sense. And you and I have done that where, I mean, we'll text each other and like not respond for several days. And then we
Yeah,
understanding where it's like, it's no offense, it's nothing personal. I think
yeah,
I know when you do that, and I think you know when I do that, it's we're saying and not responding for whatever reason. I don't have the capacity right now,
yeah,
but I will. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
And I like that it's natural like that. And I mean, there's not always this conscious thought that it's like that. It's
hmm,
just living life together. And that's why like it's not the quantity that matters to me. It's like a quality, something that's gonna last
yeah,
like a lifetime.
yeah, for sure.